morning just reiterated what's already been said, maybe just put a little different spin on it. But it's clearly this team is going to miss the playoffs for a third straight year. So at this time of the year, until the draft gets here, until free agency gets here, and I can write legitimate, hard-hitting information type of articles that people really want to read about, as far as, when we get to the off-season and the further rebuilding and further strengthening of the roster. Until that time, I got 2 weeks to go until the regular season's over. So that's the type of articles I'm going to write that are, quite frankly, are entertaining. They're not meant. There's no intention for me to write a hard-hitting informational article until the off-season gets here. So these last 2 weeks, I'm just having a little fun with it. Of course, I wouldn't tell everybody that, but I'll tell you guys in your show.
No, you just told about 200 listeners that.
Yeah. First of all, I feel comfortable with both you guys. I've been on, usually, of course, help me start Big Easy Believer, for those that don't know. And, of course, Brian has a great show on Saturday, Shots Fired. And I've been a guest on his show, and him and I freestyle quite a bit on his show. So I'm comfortable with you guys, and I can say that. And look, both you guys know, I have a reputation for saying what I think. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything with anything I do. That's just not who I am. And earlier today, Deuce knows what I'm referring to, but there was an individual who took me to task for my style of, and Deuce and I have had disagreements, over the last 2.5, 3 years we've known each other. We don't always see eye to eye, but we respect each other. And, and look, I love Deuce like a little brother. So, I respect his opinion. And he's one of the few people who can tell me something and I'll actually implement what he says because he's a very wise gentleman beyond his years. And Brian, you as well. So, two guys that I respect a lot in our business, and I will gladly take advice and have taken advice and have incorporated it into the things that I do and how I run Big Easy Believer. So, but again, it's something that not everybody agrees with. They don't like it, and that's fine. They don't have to like it because at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I do and what worked, what has been successful, and will continue to be successful.
Well, here's the reality of it, first and foremost, is that nobody on this show, and if you're listening in, I'm going to give the cosign of all cosigns. Nobody on this show is ever going to question Barry's ability to not only get the information, but put it out to where not the fans it's entertaining for the fans and it's understood, because a lot of people can just get there, write a 1,000-word piece, put up a bunch of numbers and articles, but it's just blah. Barry crafts his articles in a way in which not only do you understand, he breaks it down, he gives you the slides, he tells you numbers 1 through 10 on exactly why he feels the way he feels. And again, like you said, he doesn't sugarcoat it. It's natural, it's real. And on this show, my brother, you're always welcome. And, in any show I'm a part of, you'll always be welcome because we appreciate what you do, how you do it, and why you do it. That's first and foremost. We just want to make sure we put it out there. Secondly, the reason why you're on today is for 2 reasons. And number 1 is because of your article on Mark Ingram. But since we've been talking so much draft talk just now, let's start off with your article about the draft because, my God, if I could have given you a standing ovation through the internet, I would have. So for right now, we'll just do a phone high five because that article that you wrote on the possible draft prospects, your mock draft, my goodness, I was doing cartwheels and standing ovations because I almost agree with just about every pick. And it's weird that you put the guys that you put in those positions because that's exactly just about how I saw it playing out. So we'll start with this before I let you get into your article, which is, in my opinion, I think the Cleveland Browns and the Tennessee Titans own this NFL draft. Whatever they want to do, it's pretty much how the draft is going to go. You mentioned Brandin Cooks possibly ending up in Tennessee, which will be a great pairing. Especially even if Tennessee or Cleveland or a team like that just said, we'll give you a second-round pick, and that second-round pick is almost like a first-round pick because it's so high in the draft. But that second round, that second pick that Tennessee's going to have, right around, I think, 17 is where I saw it, if I'm not mistaken. And I could be off. I haven't really paid attention to mock drafts. I usually don't until later on, but I couldn't pass up Barry's article because it was almost spot on. With that being said, I think Tennessee and Cleveland are basically going to control the draft. However, the Saints pick that you have Can you just explain who you took and why you took them? Because Rev and I might do a standing ovation over the phone right now, and you can break down the rest of your picks after you break down the first-round draft pick of the New Orleans Saints that you see happen in this coming draft.
All right, now which one you talk about? Because I put out two of them so far.
The first one I've read as of recent was a young man from the University of Tennessee.
Yeah, gotcha.
That you have going in the first round.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's the second one I did. I did one a few weeks before that, where I picked the kid from Alabama at linebacker. But the second one is more indicative of where I really think they're leaning right now. Which obviously you got to take the best pass rusher on the board to if you're Saints. I mean, you don't have outside of the interior rush with Fairley and of course Shelton Wright, and talk about on dynamite as progresses and learns how to play in this league. It looks pretty good for a rookie. And then of course you got Cam Jordan, who, as we found out, the reason why he struggled earlier in the year is because he was playing on a bad knee. He had one good wheel, basically, and now that he's fully recovered and fully healthy, the man's on a tear. Just picked up basically where he left off last year. But what the Saints lack, clearly, is the guy coming off the outside edge. You haven't had a guy, and Saints fans hate when I bring this up, but you haven't had a guy coming off the outside edge since Junior Gillette. And I know Junior Gillette and Brian history with himself and Junior Gillette well documented. But that aside, you haven't had a guy come off the edge since him, quite frankly. So they got to get somebody off the edge. And to me, and it's early in the process, and of course, none of us have, as all three of us and other guys that we know in the business, John Hendricks, of course, the great Mike Patillier, and a few others that exclusively covered the draft. We hadn't even got into the to film and any of that stuff, but other than the big names, quote unquote, and now we're in bowl season, so of course a lot of these guys are going to get your first chance to really see them in action if you haven't been paying attention to the college football season, which you're a Saints fan, or you probably haven't, unless you're LSU, Alabama, or whatever fan of college team that you're a fan of. But man, Derek Barnett, the defensive end / edge rusher, if you want to fix that prefix to go along with the fact that he's just a natural defensive end. But man, this kid is dynamic. He's not a how can I describe it? He doesn't have a quick burst off the line like last year. I can't remember the kid. I think it was Shaq Lawson from Clemson who I fell in love with. He doesn't have an explosive first step like that per se, but he's just when the ball is snapped and he gets going. Once he gets going and he gets a full head of steam, watch out, because he's bending around that edge and he's coming after the quarterback. And man, to me, he's the best pass rusher in this draft. Outside of Myles Garrett, of course. Of course, everybody wants Myles Garrett, but I'm going to assume that the Browns will get Myles Garrett, of course. But then after Myles Garrett, to me, it's hands down Derek Barnett, the next best pass rusher. To me, anyway. Some people like what is it? I can't think of his name. Malik McDowell, maybe. I think is the one I'm thinking of. From Michigan State, he's pretty good. So, but I like Barnett. I think if the Saints currently stay where they're at, which I think they're picking 12th right now, it's back 8 to 12. He's got to be the pick. I mean, there's no two ways about it for me. He would be the pick. Like I said, he would give you the edge rusher that you're missing out there. He'd be the perfect complement to Cam Jordan. Then you'd have Jordan on one side. You'd have Fairley, assuming they're re-signing, which I expect they will. Fairley and Rankins giving you that push from the middle, and then have Barnett coming from the other side. Man, you're talking all of a sudden, you got a legit defensive line on a young, up-and-coming defense it's only going to get better with time. I know as critical as I am of this football team, I love what they're doing on defense. So.
Let me throw this out there just because we're talking about Barnett. I'm not sure how much you've been able to get with the show the past couple weeks, but me and Brian have both been high on him. And I am one of the few. I have him graded higher than Myles Garrett, not because of physical ability. Physical, in terms of physical, like athletic ability, stature, prototype size, Garrett is one of the best I've ever seen, going up with another young guy who is sitting for the Houston Texans right now. My issue is he doesn't show a lot of consistency against elite teams, whereas Derek Barnett, you go through his game log, you watch his film, he doesn't have the same explosive ability as Garrett. He doesn't have the same he's very physical, he's very athletic, but he's not on a Myles Garrett level of that. But what you will see is he's consistently getting sacks against SEC teams, and like against the Gamecocks. He's had good games against Alabama, LSU. He's in the SEC. He constantly plays that talent. But then you go look at Myles Garrett, and yes, I know college teams double team him and everything because of his talent. However, 4.5 of his sacks this year have come against the CUSA Conference. That is a very low-ranking conference. Another 2 came against the Sun Belt. So 6.5 of his sacks have come against the bottom dwellers of the division. No offense to them. My hometown team, the Warhawks, are in the Sun Belt. I get to see them. I really – that's just the truth of the matter. However, you look at the same type of situation for Tennessee. It's not like Barnett's got a loaded defense with Tennessee. He's not like Alabama with loaded linebackers behind him and a great secondary. Yet he consistently produces no matter who he's facing. To me, that makes him worth more than a Myles Garrett. I'd rather have somebody consistent, like, say, a Cam Jordan, who I know is going to get me maybe 1 sack every now and then, than one guy who might get me 3-4 sacks in a game, but then goes a 4-game stretch doing nothing for me. That consistency for me puts him higher, and I know everybody just about is going to disagree with that because of the physical ability of Myles Garrett. But you saw the Houston Texans got burned by that recently, and he's not a complete bust. He's doing semi-well, but for all that he was touted for, I don't even want to say his name just because I don't want people tweeting at me and getting mad at me. But he has not lived up to the hype, and that's what I worry about Myles Garrett. The physical's there. Will he translate it and give you 100% every play in the NFL? I just don't know he will. So to me, Barnett's higher than he is. He's my best edge rusher, and I want him so bad.
Yeah, well, I'll go ahead and say Jadeveon Clowney for you. But I agree. Look, again, he's playing in the SEC. He's playing the best of the best every single week, and he is. As you say, might be a bit inconsistent, but and maybe not as explosive. But again, the track record speaks for itself. You're playing in the SEC against the best of the best, and to me, he's the best pass rusher in the SEC. And if the SEC is the best conference in college football, well, I need to say no more about that. So, again, I certainly think if the Saints are wise, and assuming we're going to take picks, by positions of need, we're not going to throw out some wild card pick out there and I totally get why they took Andrew Speak when they took him. But man, if they throw us a curveball and they pass on Barnett and he's sitting there when they get on the clock and they pass on him, I think I might rip the hair out of my head. So, that's my biggest fear with this team. It seems now with Jeff Ireland that they're making smart picks. I mean, this past draft was outstanding. I mean, all things considered, the guys that they got, Rankins, Michael Thomas, Von Bell, I mean, these were all solid picks. These were all core players for the future of your franchise. And when have we seen that in recent years? I mean, the drafts have been horrible. 2014 draft comes to mind because Brandin Cooks is the only player left in that entire draft. So, I like what they're doing. I think they're slowly coming around. They're morphing into a possible playoff contender. We'll see where next year takes us. I certainly think that Sean Payton has to turn the corner. He has to